So last season was a funny one for everyone. As we know, it was very stop-start. I think for me personally it was a challenging season because obviously moving teams partway through the season, so coming from Partick Thistle into the set-up at Boroughmuir. But it was definitely a positive move for me and one of my better decisions. I think I've come into an environment where I've been able to work on my weaknesses, which I wasn't feeling fit when I came in. I'm feeling in a lot better kind of shape physically, so that's been great for me. And then I was able to mark my first start for this team with a win against my old team, so that was a real high for myself. The team overall, it's been nothing but a positive season. Obviously stepping up from the Championship into the kind of Premier League is a massive step. Everyone wants to play in SWPL2 because it is such a competitive league, so it's really difficult to step up. But I think the beginning, it was obviously, in terms of results, it was a bit of a struggle. But by the end of the season, the team had totally kind of stamped their place in SWPL2, finishing comfortably off what would have been the playoff spot. And I think that's just credit to the club itself, the coaches, and obviously the players as well, because towards the end of the season, we were giving them a game, and I think there was only a couple of teams in the end that we never took points off. So overall, a really positive season for the club. So obviously we came into the kind of last 8 games of the season there quite unexpectedly, but I think we took it in our stride. We'd done a lot of fitness work and individual work over the break, so obviously that did help in a way, and obviously the fact we've got a fairly big squad, and I think the coaches were quite fair in terms of the squad rotation. So physically it was probably okay. I think we were all just glad to be playing and getting to be involved as a team. I think mentally it was really tough. We had all our midweek fixtures, I think, were away from home, so I think you were finishing work, say 5 p.m, you had to be in Glasgow in like the next 45 minutes to an hour. How do you fuel properly? When do you fuel? Obviously the travel element of it. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays during the week we were travelling to training, travelling to games. So I think that month, although it was definitely physically challenging, I think we prepared ourselves quite well for that aspect. But I think mentally it was really tough, and by the end of it, myself having a day job and obviously football commitments, I was kind of ready for a break. Sadly, the break was only 10 days long, so that did sort of kind of roll into this part of the season. The only kind of benefit to that is you're doing the first week of pre-season runs and you actually feel semi-fit because you've only been off for 10 days. But I think not just at this level, but every level throughout the kind of men and women's game in Scotland, this season will be the real kind of challenge for players. Just going from not playing at all in lockdown for 9 months to a year, then playing quite intensely for a couple of months, short break, and then into a full season. So I do kind of worry that this season will be kind of a challenge physically for players, and I think a lot of the competition in league places will almost come down to who's lucky enough to keep players fit and not have kind of crucial injuries to key players. So it will definitely take its toll, and I think it's already proven pretty mentally challenging. And you do see throughout the team there's been quite a few kind of people in and out with niggles, but thankfully we've had a fairly big squad to just kind of deal with that and finish the season strong and going into this season strong as well. Yeah, so really looking forward to Sunday. I think for us, we were there just kind of about 4 weeks ago, and obviously we played them on the day that they lifted the trophy, so it was an interesting day. We proper battled with them and gave them a game till about 70 odd minutes, and obviously they managed to kind of scrape the win. But I think this time round it'll be probably a completely different game. They will have less complacency than they potentially did the last game of the season. They'd already won the league, kind of facing us, who I think they'd quite heavily beat earlier in the season, so they'll definitely be more prepared for what we're going to come at them with. but I think there's no denying that we've got a challenging group in the League Cup. We've just got to see it as an opportunity to face some really good competition, give our opponents the respect that they deserve, and for us it's a great experience. Some girls may have never played in games of this kind of size, stepping up from the Championship or the 19, so it's an excellent opportunity for people to kind of measure themselves against the top standard, and could be the biggest games of some of the players on the team's career. So I think everyone's really looking forward to it, and we've just got to go out and give our best performance. That's all we can do. Yeah, so when I obviously signed for Boroughmuir, I actually had the benefit that I came in a couple of seasons before and played a trial game, so I wasn't feeling like hesitant in any way about signing. I'd obviously worked under Ian before at Hutchinson Vale. I'd played under Susie a couple of times, so more than anything I was looking forward to kind of being part of the team, and I wasn't kind of worrying about it in that sense. For me it's been excellent having a kind of Premier League team based in Edinburgh. It just kind of cuts out the need for girls to travel as much, especially girls that, as we mentioned, have day jobs, so it does help massively from that point of view. In terms of facilities, we've got kind of one of the best in Edinburgh, so no complaints in that sense. We have a fairly young squad. I think in a friendly on Sunday there, we had girls stepping up from the younger teams as young as 14 and 15, which is really refreshing, and it's good to see these girls getting such a good opportunity, and we're seeing that kind of reflect in the fact there's a few of them involved in the kind of national 19s camp, so it's all credit to the club. I think obviously I'm an older experienced player playing in a younger group, but I enjoy that. I'm happy to share my experience, and I'll always try and encourage the girls and kind of be a shoulder to cry on, if you like, or just give as much kind of positive and constructive feedback as feels relevant. It doesn't really stick out for me how kind of young the squad is. I think there's a real togetherness, and I think we've got a really good balance of experience, a core of experienced players, some kind of middle of the road, and then some really good young players coming through. So I think we've kind of struck the balance really well, and really prepared ourselves for this season coming.